My mother-in-law dropped $40,000 to have me followed for 6 months. She wanted dirt on me so bad she hired a professional. He tracked every single move I made. And when that report came back, it did not touch me. It blew her entire life to pieces. Subscribe to her words right now, because part 2 is going to leave your jaw on the floor. My name is Rachel. I am 34 years old. I have been married to my husband Daniel for 5 years. We got a cute little 4-year-old daughter named Lily, and honestly life was pretty good. Not perfect, but good, real, ours, until I started noticing that somebody was watching me every single day. Let me tell you about Patricia first, because nothing makes sense without her. Patricia is Daniel's mom. She is 61. She is the kind of woman who walks into a room and immediately makes you feel like you do not belong in it. Always put together, always polished, always got something slick to say. Old money. The kind of woman who has never needed anything from anybody and makes sure you know it every single chance she gets. From day one, Patricia could not stand me. I saw it the very first time Daniel brought me home. She smiled at me, but her eyes were ice cold. She was the type to remember every little thing about you and use it against you when the moment was right. One time at a family dinner, she casually mentioned in front of everybody that I went to a state university. Said it all sweet and soft, like she was just making small talk. She was not making small talk. She knew exactly what she was doing. When Daniel proposed, Patricia pulled him aside and took him to lunch alone. She straight up told him I was not the right woman for him. Daniel told me about it that same night. He said he shut her down and told her he loved me, and that was that. But Patricia does not do that. She does not just let things go. That lunch was not the end. That was just her getting started. After Lily was born, Patricia got worse. She wanted her hands in everything. How we raised Lily, what Lily ate, where Lily was going to school. She was sending Daniel articles every other day, calling 3 times a week, showing up at our house unannounced like she paid the mortgage. One morning, she walked right in through the front door at 7 a.m. I was standing in the kitchen in my robe, half asleep, and there she was, cool as anything, like she lived there. I told Daniel that same day I needed that spare key back. He got it back. Patricia never got over it. I first spotted the car in November. Gray sedan, parked right across the street. I noticed it because it never moved. Every morning when I took Lily to preschool, it was sitting there. Every afternoon when I pulled back in, it was still there. I told myself I was tripping. People park on streets. That is just life. But then I started seeing the man. Average looking dude. Medium build. Dark jacket. He was never doing anything crazy on the surface. But he kept showing up everywhere I was. 2 aisles over at the grocery store. On a bench at the park scrolling his phone. In the parking lot outside my gym. Always just close enough to keep eyes on me. Never close enough for me to say something. I told Daniel in December. Sat him down and laid it all out. The car. The man. The pattern. I told him straight up I thought somebody was following me. Daniel listened. He really did. And then he said, Rachel, I think you might just be stressed out. He said we had a lot going on. He said I was probably reading too much into things. He was not trying to be mean. He genuinely did not believe me. So I started collecting my own receipts. Every time I spotted the car, I took a photo. Every time I saw the man, I took a photo. I wrote down dates, times, and locations in a notebook. 6 weeks straight, I built that file. And the more I documented, the clearer it got. This was not me being paranoid. Somebody had made a decision to watch me. In January, I decided I was done playing it cool. I was leaving the grocery store by myself and I spotted him right by the entrance, messing around on his phone like he always did. I walked straight up to him. I said, I know you have been following me. I said, I got 6 weeks worth of photos right here on my phone. I said, you either tell me who hired you or I am calling the police right now. He looked at me for a long moment, like he was trying to figure out his next move. Then he said, I cannot discuss my clients. And he walked off. Clients. Not, I do not know what you were talking about. Not, lady, you got the wrong guy. Clients. He gave it all away without saying anything. Real, I went home and got to work. I dug into private investigation agencies in our city. I cross-checked the license plate I had been photographing for weeks. 3 days later, I found the agency, and I did something bold. I called them directly. I told them straight up that somebody in my family hired them to follow me, and I needed to know who. The woman on the phone paused. Then she said she could not confirm or deny anything. But she told me if I had concerns, I should talk to the people closest to me. The people closest to me. I hung up. I sat at my kitchen table, and I thought about who in my life wanted to find something on me bad enough to actually pay for it. There was only one name. Patricia. I sat at that kitchen table for a long time. Just me and that name sitting heavy in my head. Patricia. Of course it was Patricia. Who else was it going to be? She had been gunning for me since day one. She just finally decided to stop being subtle about it. I did not call Daniel right away. I needed to think. I needed to be smart about this. Because if I walked in hot with nothing but a hunch, Daniel was going to do what he always did when it came to his mother. He was going to try to find a reasonable explanation. He loved her. I understood that. But love has a way of making people blind to things that are sitting right in front of their face. So I went back to the investigator. I found his name through the agency. Marcus Webb. I looked him up. He had his own small office downtown. I showed up there on a Tuesday morning, without calling ahead. I walked in and sat down across from his desk, and I told him I was not there to cause problems. I told him I was there because I had a 4-year-old daughter and I needed to know if my family was safe. Marcus looked at me for a long time. Then, he leaned back in his chair and he said, "Off the record." I said, "Off the record." He said he had been hired 6 months ago. He said the person who hired him made it very clear what they were looking for. Anything that would prove I was unstable, unfaithful, unfit as a mother and a wife. He said he followed me for 6 months. Every day, everywhere. He said he filed weekly reports. He said after 6 months of watching me, the only thing he could confirm was that I was a good mother who went to the grocery store a lot. I almost laughed. 6 months, $40,000. And all she got was receipts from Trader Joe's. But then Marcus got quiet. He looked at his desk. He said there was something else. He said while he was conducting surveillance on me, he observed something he was not hired to find. Something that had nothing to do with me at all. He said he debated whether to tell me. He said he had been debating it for weeks. Then he looked up at me and he said, "Your mother-in-law's husband has been living a double life for over a decade." I stared at him. Marcus laid it out straight. While he was following me around, he kept running into the same man in unexpected places. At first he thought nothing of it. Then the pattern got too consistent to ignore. He did his own digging out of professional curiosity. What he found was that Franklin, Patricia's husband of 32 years, the quiet, dignified man who sat at the head of every family dinner and barely said a word, had a whole second family. A woman named Denise, a son who was 11 years old, an apartment across town, a whole entire secret life running parallel to the one Patricia thought they had together. That boy was Daniel's half-brother, and nobody in the family knew he existed. I drove home in complete silence. I did not turn on the radio. I did not call anyone. I just drove and let everything settle in my mind. Patricia had spent 6 months trying to expose me, and instead the whole operation had exposed her own husband. I told Daniel that night. All of it. I sat him down after Lily was in bed and I went through everything from the beginning. The car, the man, Marcus Webb, the agency, Franklin and Denise, and the 11-year-old boy across town. Daniel did not say a single word the entire time I was talking. He just sat there, very still, very quiet. When I finished, he stood up and walked out to the back porch and stood there alone for a long time. We confronted Patricia together the next day. Daniel drove. I sat in the passenger seat and I let him lead because this was his mother and his family and his pain. Patricia opened the door in her usual way, composed, put together, a little cold. She looked at me and then at Daniel, and something flickered across her face. She knew. Somehow she already knew that whatever was coming was not good. Daniel laid everything out in her living room. He told her about Marcus Webb, He told her about the 6 months of surveillance. He told her what Marcus had found. Patricia sat very straight in her chair the whole time. When Daniel finished, she did not deny hiring the investigator. She said she was trying to protect her son. She said she always knew something was off about me. She said she was just trying to find the truth. Daniel said, "Mama, you found it. Just not the truth you were looking for." Patricia fell apart when Daniel confronted Franklin. Franklin did not deny it either. He just sat down slowly, like the weight of 10 years of lying had finally gotten too heavy to carry standing up. He admitted everything. Denise, the apartment, the boy, all of it. He said he had been trying to find a way to tell Patricia for years. Patricia looked at him like she had never seen him before in her life. The family fractured fast. Franklin moved out within a week. Patricia, who had spent 32 years as the perfect wife in the perfect marriage, was suddenly alone in that big house with nothing but the consequences of her own actions keeping her company. The son she tried to protect, Daniel, lost a lot of trust in her, not just for what she did to me, but for the years of pretending everything in her own house was fine while she picked apart mine. Daniel and I came out of it closer than we had ever been. He apologized to me, not once, many times. He said he should have believed me when I first told him about the car. I told him I understood. I told him we were good. And I meant it. Lily still asks about Grandma Patricia sometimes. We handle it carefully. We are not trying to poison anything. We are just living in the truth now. All of it. Even the parts that hurt. Patricia wanted dirt on me so bad she funded the investigation that blew up her own marriage. She pointed the flashlight at my life and it lit up every dark corner of hers instead. Sometimes the person hunting you is just running from themselves. If this story hit different, go subscribe to her words right now and share it with somebody who needs to hear it. New stories dropping every week. Because every woman has a truth worth telling.